Ahead of a packed weekend of professional wrestling that includes the latest Saturday night's main event and the return of the all-women's premium live event Evolution, Monday Night Raw hit the Netflix airwaves with a card headlined by Seth Rollins squaring off with Penta in a first-time showdown. Who emerged victorious from that battle, and what did it mean for Rollins ahead of his matchup with LA Knight Saturday in Atlanta? Find out now with this recap of last night's show, which also saw the latest from the women's division ahead of its big night on Sunday. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streamia.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by the phenom Michael Bullock. Not often we say this, but we are awaiting the presence of good old MF Michael Fletcher. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us for our next show. So, Monday Night Raw live last night from the Amica Mutual Pavilion, Providence, Rhode Island, and not much more to say except let's just dive right on in. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. Seth Rollins and his still unnamed faction of Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker opened last night's show. Promos from Reed and Breakker set the stage for their matches with Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, while Rollins yielded his mic time to his now Oracle, Paul Heyman. Heyman promised that the Empire was striking back against its enemies, beginning last night and ending Saturday in Atlanta at Saturday night's main event, when the Visionary defeats LA Knight. Yeah, so tell you what, the segment was a fairly standard one that introduced tonight's matches, gave Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed some mic time, and planted the seeds for the inevitable return of Roman Reigns through one subtle tease and a blatant address from Heyman. This was fine for what it was as a table setter. And the facial expressions on Rollins and Heyman's faces during Breakker's promo will be internet memes before the end of the night. And between Rollins extending his hand for the mic at the start of the segment to Heyman claiming Reigns will not step up to his faction, it's clear the OTC is on its way back, presumably in time for SummerSlam and a date with the Visionary. So not much more to say on that. So MF is here. Perfect timing, MF. We just started the opening promo segment, and I'll tell you what, I thought it was about time that Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker got some mic time. They got it, and now this group finally has a purpose now. So
yeah, they do have a purpose. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Florio? Guys?
Yep, I can hear you, MF.
Okay, good. I thought I muted myself. I thought I cut myself off there. No, I thought it was clever. Props to the fans in Providence, Rhode Island. That was a monster pop for Seth freaking Rollins and for the crew. And then I was watching this last night, and the minute Bron Breakker took the mic and cut it that promo, I was like, oh. I gotta say it. The dogs were barking, and they were barking pretty loud in Providence, no doubt about it. That definitely caught my attention more than anything else. But no, I thought they did a really good job with it. Yeah. After that, then you had Big Bronson recut his promo. Wasn't really the best promo, honestly. I thought Breakker was more better. And then you had to give the greatest of all time. The minute you gave the mic to Paul Heyman, you knew you were in for it. Then, yeah, he did talk about the Roman Reigns thing that definitely perked my ears. And I'm like, oh no, there's no shot. You don't think Roman's in Providence. You know, Providence, there's always something crazy that happens. Anytime. It doesn't matter if it's a Raw, a SmackDown, a pay-per-view. WWE loves Providence, Rhode Island, and every time something crazy happens in Providence, I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it, but every freaking time something nuts happens in Providence when WWE comes to town. And I thought Roman Reigns was going to be it. I almost like, oh my god damn it. We should have got the tickets. We should have risked it all and went for it. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it wasn't really anything special. So Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I thought it was a good promo. I mean, the moment when I saw Braun Breaker grab the mic, and I'm like thinking, oh my goodness. Yeah, the dogs were definitely out, and the and you could just see the look on Rollins and Heyman's faces. They were like, what? And yeah, Bronson Reed's promo was not all spectacular, but it served its purpose. But when Heyman got on there, and as soon as he mentioned Roman Reigns was MIA, I'm like thinking, Roman's due back at any time. And as, as soon as that happened, I'm like thinking, it's going to happen close to SummerSlam, and I think we're getting Roman and Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And we all know the history with these two, and Seth Rollins, he's made no bones about it. He doesn't like Roman Reigns, especially ever since he became the tribal chief. So, he's made that loud and clear. So, who knows? Maybe he returns at Saturday night's main event, because remember, you got LA Knight going up against Seth freaking Rollins at Saturday night's main event, and this would be the perfect time to bring back the tribal chief and start the build for their match at SummerSlam. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, let's get into our first match of the night. It was the Pirate Princess, Kairi Sane, squaring off against Roxanne Perez. Raquel Rodriguez was in her corner. And the winner of the match, in 11 and a half minutes, that's 11 minutes and 30 seconds, it was Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane with a backslide, defeating Roxanne Perez in 11:30. And then all hell breaks loose. Raquel Rodriguez gets involved, and they attack Kairi, and then out comes Asuka. The Kabuki Warriors are back together, and we now have our 4 teams that are going to battle for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship at Evolution on Sunday night. You got the reigning title holders, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, representing the Judgment Day. Representing SmackDown, it'll be Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. From NXT, Women's North American Champion Sol Ruca and Zarya. And the other team representing Raw, it will be the reunited Kabuki Warriors. Oh man, is that going to be something? So, not much more to say. MF, Kairi Sane wins the match in 11:30, and we have our 4 teams for Evolution.
Yeah, solid matchup to say the very least. I thought they did a really good job with it. I thought it could have been a little better in certain elements, but with Kairi and with Roxanne, you can't go wrong with either one of them. They're really good, very knowledgeable. They worked pretty well. Yes, the backslide victory, kind of a backdoor victory more than anything else. I kind of, in commentary, joked that there's no way Kairi could have held her down for 3. She must have cheated or something. But I was just playing the character on that one. But it was a nice win for her. Yes, then basically Raquel kind of defending the honor of her new partner, only for Asuka to show up, and the lethal punches and kicks of Asuka. Oh, the fans in Providence were eating it up. Every connection, you hear a ooh, ooh, ooh. I mean, those shots are stiff. They're hard, and they leave an impact. And yeah, the backstage moment was a little funny, because they were calling Judgment Day Judgmental Day. I don't know if you heard that on the mic, but I did catch that. I got a good little chuckle, but I'm not gonna say anything bad about Asuka or Kyrie. I love them. They are amazing. They are awesome. They're one of the reasons why you gotta love the women's tag team division. Now, I will say this. I'm a little miffed about how they got this team because remember, the NXT they had to do a qualifier. SmackDown had to do a qualifier to get into the match. But Monday Night Raw basically let the Kabuki Warriors through without nothing. Like they just gave them the opportunity on a silver platter. I'm sorry, I gotta cry foul. That's unfair. Because with the way that SmackDown had to do their situation, with the way NXT did their way, for Raw to just kind of skirt the whole situation and just let Kabuki Warriors go through. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's very tough because the women's division on Raw is limited. It's not as deep with NXT. It's not as deep as the women on SmackDown. I get it. But still, I think they should have earned the right to get into Evolution, not get handed the opportunity. That's just me nitpicking more than anything else. It was a 3-star bout. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah,
And I've got some
3-star.
choice, and I got some choice words when it comes to another team, but we'll get to that in a second. Go ahead, Bullet.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, 3 stars for me, and yeah, I get where Fletch is coming from this. I mean, yeah, like you said, SmackDown. I mean, had a qualifier. I mean, NXT certainly did, but the Kabuki Warriors got handed to them. But I think like you said, I think the reason why is because, like you said, that the tag team division in the women's tag team division on Raw is limited. So, I mean, I can see it both ways. I mean, so yeah, now we got the teens, and and now when it comes to the champs, I don't. I'm sure you guys saw Florio. I discussed it with you last night. I mean, after the show went off the air, and Fletch, I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure you did watching the show. There was a backstage thing where the Judgment Day and Roxanne had a
A
memorial,
candlelight
a
visual
candlelight
for Liv
vigil
Morgan.
for Liv Morgan, and you saw the look on Raquel's face was like, wait a minute, she didn't die, she's just hurt. I mean, she's going to be out for a while. While Finn Balor was saying, look, I was out of action for a long time, so I think it's worthy of a vigil. And Raquel just literally stormed right off. And I'm telling you this right now, these two need to get on the same page. Because if they don't, they can kiss those women's tag team titles goodbye. So, and I said this to you, Florio, something stinks. And what is it you also said, Florio?
There's a lot more to this than meets the eye here.
And I got this feeling. Remember last year, the whole thing when Rhea Ripley was out of action, and then
Rhea Ripley and
Liv
Dominic,
Morgan
and Liv Morgan.
swooped
Liv
right
Morgan
in,
took Dominic from Rhea. Roxanne Perez is
and
doing
the
the same
Judgment
thing.
Day. Roxanne Perez is doing I think she's doing the exact same thing, except this time it's Liv Morgan that's feeling the effects of it.
And when Liv comes back, whenever that is, that pop is going to be otherworldly.
And Roxanne Perez is going to be in big trouble. But here's the telling thing: where will Raquel Rodriguez stand when she does come back, which will be in January of the new year? And you know it's going to set up for Liv Morgan and Roxanne at WrestleMania. So Roxanne, I think she's trying to do the same thing that Liv Morgan did last year. Do you guys see the same thing, or do you see
I
something
see
different?
it. I see it.
I don't. In one sense, I see it. I see definitely the wedge coming in, but she hasn't really made a legit play at Dom yet. So I'm
The
holding
keyword,
out.
not yet.
Not yet, exactly. But
Not yet.
you know who's the master manipulator of the whole thing? It's
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor.
Because you
Balor is,
because you because you saw during that time. I mean, Liv and Finn Balor, they've had disagreements,
yeah,
and maybe he's like, you know what? I'm finding someone that I can trust more, and he trusts Roxanne more than Liv Morgan. So yeah, Finn Balor is the one who's literally driving the wedge.
yeah, he's snaking it, and you can tell, you can see it, like whenever, and remember how he was like shining the belts, like he shined the belt, he shined the tag team titles, he shined the belt that had Roxanne Perez's, you know, kind of what would have been Roxanne Perez's, because oh, by the way, just to let you know, she still has Liv's side plates on that belt. They have not changed it. It still says Liv Morgan on her side plates. I don't know if you noticed that, boys.
I've actually noticed it. I
Yeah,
actually have.
I have to look back at it, but
I think they still have Liv side plates on that belt. They're not Roxanne Perez's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is
that's
what we
another thing
call
you got to
that's
read
what we in
into.
the biz call a developing situation.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Remember when Liv and Roxanne were looked like they were going to go at it? You could see the smile on Finn Balor's
Oh, the
face.
glee on Finn Balor. He was
It's
loving
almost
it.
like he's saying everything is going according to plan.
Yep.
Well, it may work for now, Finn, but when Liv Morgan does come back, it all may blow up in your damn face.
It might, but the thing is, right now Dom is loyal, and you even notice how he is definitely being the good soldier. He's being the good little soldier. He is being very
Mm-hmm.
loyal to Liv. And unlike what he did with the Rhea Ripley situation, he is being very loyal to Liv. So it's not like, oh, there's any problems. No, he is absolutely on the side of Liv Morgan this time around. It wasn't like, oh no, it's fine. It's I'm dealing with it. You know, when Liv was making her moves and all this stuff, it's fine. No, this time around, Roxanne's trying to hasn't made a major play yet. But even when she did, you could tell he's like, no, we need to talk to Liv about the group. We got to. He still feels that Liv should have a say. So
But
right now, Dom is loyal to Liv.
but I got this bad feeling that at some point, I don't know when, Roxanne's going to start making those moves on Dom.
Mm.
I don't know when, but it's going to happen eventually
I
because
you know what? I get it. I get it, and I definitely do. But honestly, Bullock, honestly, Floyo, can you resist a girl like Roxanne Perez trying to put the moves on you?
No,
Can you?
I'm gonna pass on this one because you both of you know I have a girlfriend and you know my exact answer to that. Hell freaking no.
and
Plain and simple.
MF knows. MF knows I like the young ones. He knows that. So I like the youngins myself.
So
So
Roxanne's gonna make the moves eventually on Dom because
Beauty Patootie, no doubt.
yeah, because you know, I mean, with Liv being out of action until January, you know she's gonna take advantage of it, and she's gonna
Long
do
term booking.
whatever she can.
Long term booking.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna do whatever she can to finally get Dom to not only like her but love her.
Of course.
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right, let's get going here. All right. So you gave it 3. MF gave it 3. I'm going to give this in excess of 3.25, teetering on 3.5. All right. As far as the match is concerned, it was surprising. It was good based on the talent. It was unsurprisingly good based on the talent involved. Perez eating another loss was probably unnecessary, but it set up the post-match event, so it is forgivable. The reunited Kabuki Warriors joining Charlotte and Alexa, as well as Sol Ruca and Zarya, in facing Perez and Rodriguez makes sense, and that tandem's presence will only make the match better. MF said he was crying foul because of the Kabuki Warriors getting in. Name value, number one. And I said I had some choice words. Well, it's not for the Kabuki Warriors. My question is, what in the world with all due respect, what in the world did Sol Ruca and Zarya exactly do to get into this match? They didn't have a qualifier on NXT. Sol Ruca and Zarya went up against Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley last week, and they lost. And yet, they're in this match? What's up with that?
I kind of have to claim not just name recognition, but also probably the best tag team on NXT. Now, this would have been metaphor if they didn't let Jakara Jackson go out the door.
Very true. Yeah. As deep as that NXT women's division is.
I mean, if Jakara Jackson hadn't gotten released, maybe this would have been where Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson
would have been the NXT team.
Would have been in there. But
we'll get to Lash later.
But because Sol Ruca and Zarya are the best tag team right now on NXT, they had to put them in there. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I mean, what other choice did they have, Florio?
That's true. I mean, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. I mean, that was a choice. I mean, I honestly don't know where they could have gone because of the booking, because of how all of these women are booked, not just for Evolution, but for Great American Bash also. So, but and the reason we bring that up is because Alexa and Charlotte, they had to earn their way into the match. They had to go through a qualifying match, whereas the other two teams did not. So it would have made sense, but it is what it is. So let's not try to waste too much time here, guys. So 3.25, 3.5 for this. So, and one more, and I will say this: Roxanne Perez is already one of the best wrestlers in the women's division on the main roster, as evidenced by the strength of her bouts against superstars of all styles, sizes, and backgrounds. And I can honestly say that last night was the most over Kairi Sane has been with an audience since her return. Proof that keeping her on television via matches or vignettes is working. And I think there was an argument to be made that Kairi and Roxanne was a singles match for Evolution, based on the idea of the Prodigy proving herself against the woman who hurt Liv Morgan. Instead, we get the tag match, which at least gets more talent on the PLE. So, 3.25, teetering on 3.5 for that. So, so with that being said, we move on now. All right, let's see what we have here. Sami Zayn had a backstage moment. American Made had a backstage moment with Adam Pearce. Nikki Bella with a vignette for Nikki Bella, and Nikki Bella announced that she will take part in the Battle Royale that will take place at Evolution, where the winner will get a championship opportunity at the Clash in Paris at the end of next month. So we move on to Sami Zayn squaring off against Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker wins the match in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. and my God, Michael Bullock, Braun Breaker, strikes first for the Seth Rollins faction. The first target acquired, down goes Sammy.
Well, you're forgetting another thing, Florio, about who targeted Sammy first.
Oh, that's right, Karrion Kross.
Karrion Kross, because
Push the
before
man.
Sammy,
Push the man.
and you heard that crowd in Providence, you guys. I mean, they were even saying, "We want Kross, we want Kross."
There was a video that came out. A video came out late last night of Karrion Kross leaving the arena, and the fans were chanting, "We want Kross," and he's stuck. And they didn't even let him leave. They didn't let him leave.
Yeah,
I
and
think
not only
I think they're
He's
trying to
over.
send a message to the the WWE universe is trying to send a message to WWE. Push the man.
and it went, and you know what? One of the rare times I'll say this, I'm so damn proud of Providence, Rhode Island, because you guys are going to be the ones that starts this revolution. We've been saying it for a while that somebody needed to step up.
And Providence did.
Providence was like, all right, let us be the charge. And they were. Proud of you guys. Well done. You did a damn good job. That's what we wanted it to see.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and then when it comes to the match, I mean, a little disappointing. I mean, I thought maybe this would get a little more time, but I'll give it about maybe 1.5 to 2 for the effort. But man, down goes Sammy thanks to that. Ooh, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to eat one of Braun Breaker's spears because it would just freaking cut me in half. So that's all I'll say. It's yours, Florio.
I could only give this about 2.5 for the effort. All right, just trying to find all this here. This was a great example. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, Karrion Kross taking out Sammy before the match with that lead pipe. So this was a great example of how to add heat to Kross by a way of a sneak attack, despite the crowd's clear desire to see more of him and build sympathy for the gutsy babyface who refuses to quit. Sami Zayn is spread too thin. His body is suffering and it's costing him victories. Will the issues with Kross, the intensifying rivalry with Rollins and company, and his desire to be champion ultimately force him to the dark side? It has been the question hovering over Sammy's story for the better part of the last 6 months. And no one shows babyface fire in wrestling today like Sami Zayn. His timing is impeccable, which pops the crowd at precisely the right time. And ditto Breaker's understanding of when to uncork his explosive intensity. And much like my man Bret the Hitman Hart a generation before him, no one takes a believable, sympathetic ass kicking like Sami Zayn. 2.5 stars, and upward and onward for the Rollins faction. And MF, like I said, where does this lead for Sami Zayn now?
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. As a matter of fact, I think I heard that they put him on the bench. I think I heard something during that promo that Sammy's out indefinitely due to injuries. So they might be putting Sammy on the shelf for a little bit. So that might be the plan, to have him take some time off, recuperate, regather, and then we could see him back by SummerSlam. So to possibly go after Rollins and the crew again. So we'll see. But yeah, this was about a 2-star bout. Nothing more to say, Florio. It's yours.
Okay, so moving on to our next. Okay, great promo segment coming up here. Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch, and ahead of Evolution and her defense of the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria in a triple threat match, Becky Lynch took to the squared circle and took exception to that idea. Both challengers interrupted in short order and wasted little time taking shots at each other, egged on by the man. Valkyria promised to end both and take the IC title, while Bayley expressed her need for the gold. A brawl broke out, and Valkyria laid out both of her former partners standing tall and establishing momentum ahead of Sunday's match. This match is going to be one of the best on the Evolution card, if not the best. With that said, this did little to advance this story and essentially repeated what we already knew. Valkyria getting the spotlight at the end when she is most likely to eat the pinfall in Atlanta was the right call, though. Keeping her at the forefront and not letting her slink into the background will be key coming out of the event. So, is it just me, or are they starting to tease a possible heel turn for Lyra Valkyria? And if that is the case, I think a heel turn would do wonders for Lyra Valkyria. I really do. And I would be all for it.
I think so.
Yeah, we talked about that last night during our midnight chat there, Bullock. So
I kind of have to disagree. I don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think she's too over. You heard that reaction from the crowd, and I'll tell you this. I have not heard a crowd give that kind of a reaction to Lyra Valkyria ever. She was massively over in Providence. I'm sorry. I don't think you pulled the trigger. Not yet. I don't think she's too good of a baby face. I just don't. I don't think it'll be believable for me for her to be a heel. I just don't think it's going to resonate. Bayley could pull it off as a heel. Becky can pull it off as a heel. I got my reservations on Lyra Valkyria being a heel. I do.
It's just the way that she's been acting lately, and even in one of those backstage things on Instagram saying like, "Who's the?" Well,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying. Yeah,
the biatch.
Yeah. So
well,
we'll see.
We'll have to wait and find out. 3-way dance, triple threat match, Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky, Bayley, Lyra. We'll get into that. We'll get into that on Friday. But anyways, all right. Big Bronson Reed squaring off against main event Jey Uso. And I know I can hear Bullock. I mean, we'd be like, oh, man. If it wasn't for those ridiculous and insane ticket prices, we would have been there yeeting our you-know-what's off last night. No doubt about that. And Bullock would have led the charge like he did last summer when we went to it. But unfortunately, well, yes, Jey Uso wins the match, but he wins it via disqualification in only 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're obviously going to call this a cutout here. I never would have thought it, considering the talent involved, but alas, here we are. Beating Jey Uso was not something Bronson Reed was interested in last night. Instead, he devastated Jey Uso, bringing an electric match to a sudden end by launching the commentator's chair at Jey Uso and drawing a DQ. And then after the bell, he brutalized the former World Heavyweight Champion, delivering multiple tsunamis. Yes, MF, I heard you saying it. You did Wade Barrett proud, by the way. And leaving him in need of assistance to the back. This was another instance of the heel faction's dominating night. It started with words of warning, and then they made good on it. Braun Breaker put Sami Zayn out indefinitely, and Jey Uso could not leave under his own volition. The heels are rolling, but the fans will only tolerate it as long as there is an indication there are babyfaces waiting in the wings, ready to topple them eventually. CM Punk and Roman Reigns figure to be them. But this is a prime opportunity to create a new star, or at least a new main event attraction. Hopefully Triple H and his team realize as much. So, interesting line from Michael Cole on commentary. Bronson Reed has never been in a match with Jey Uso. He has won. And that did not change here. And losing the World Heavyweight Championship did nothing to hurt Jey Uso, who is still clearly a megastar and someone the crowd treats as such. And we damn sure rolled out the red carpet last night. There is no doubt about that. All that yeeting. Oh, my goodness. I mean, if we had been there, Bullock would have led the charge, like I said, so like he did last summer. So, oh man, but NA, I would even go as far as to call this the worst by default, the worst fight of the night. Honestly, um, LA Knight in a promo, a vignette promo regarding his Saturday Night's main event match against Seth Rollins. And then a very well done video package for Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Where were they last night? I mean, that would have been awesome if we had gotten them. That would have been great. But we did get the new and improved El Grande Americano, because let's not forget, Chad Gable is out with injury. So stepping into the role, none other than Ludwig Kaiser. So Ludwig Kaiser, now donned in the El Grande Americano getup, he squared off against Dragon Lee, and Ludwig Kaiser, El Grande Americano, wins the match in 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, no surprise here. This was a 3-star match. Solid back and forth bout was done a disservice by the commentary team and its focus on the identity of the Star-Spangled Heel. Late in the match, Lee launched himself over the rope at Americano and appeared to have momentum on his side. That is until Americano loaded his mask up and leveled his opponent with a headbutt to score the win. This incarnation of the heel, clearly Ludwig Kaiser under the mask, will take some time to get used to, in that his style does not immediately mesh with luchadors the way Chad Gable's did. With that said, the comedic value of the uptight, egotistical heel, formerly of Imperium, parading around in a mask, may be even greater than that of Chad Gable. Americano suddenly speaking Spanish with a German accent is funny. And why isn't Dragon Lee on TV every week having great matches against this talented Raw roster? But nonetheless, solid 3 stars for the effort. So, MF, Ludwig Kaiser, the new El Grande Americano, defeating Dragon Lee in 9:20.
I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Jake Turner, because boy, did me and him have a field day with this one. You thought Anthony Floyd and Michael Bullock were hilarious. Oh my God. This guy does not like El Grande Americano. He is not on that side of the fence. But me and another good friend of mine, Ramon Santiago, a.k.a. we call him Mexi, boy, we were playing that card hard on him. And he said some words that unfortunately I'm not allowed to repeat here on air, but you get the picture. And yeah, we were playing that role very well. So we were having a lot of fun with this. It was a 3-star bout. Nothing more to say. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, this was a 3-star bout for me as well. It's going to take some time to get used to Kaiser as El Grande Americano. And, yeah, why has it been Dragon Lee been getting, like, on air time on Raw, especially in matches like this? So, yeah, Florio brings up a good point. So, nothing more to say, so let's move on.
All right, then we had a vignette from La Primera, Stephanie Vacour, and she announced that she will also be a participant in that women's battle royale, where the winner gets the championship match at Clash in Paris at the end of next month. We'll see her in that battle royale. Boy, howdy! If she had been in Providence and we were there, you already know the gist of that by now. So we're not gonna waste too much time on that. But okay, this was the moment where we were going off. The 3 of us were in our messenger chat and we were going off on those greedy you-know-whats at TKO for raising the damn ticket prices, making it impossible for any of us to afford going. But here's the reason why. We really got our knickers in a bunch here. It was the World Heavyweight Champion. It was another in-ring segment. days before he defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Bill Goldberg on Saturday night's main event, Gunther took to the squared circle to address the Hall of Famer. You're thinking, oh, here we go, another Gunther promo about Bill Goldberg. His promo was short-lived, as we then see a red sports car pulling in to the Amp parking lot, stalking into the arena. And who comes out of that car? I am almost certain, unless there was a time before it that he was here. I don't know if I've ever recalled him being here before. But I cannot believe this. By God. Bill freaking Goldberg showed up here. Goldberg was here.
As soon as I heard about it, I'm like, you have got to be effing kidding me. I'm like,
we all were.
That's when I lost my damn mind. I was like, damn you, TKO, for raising the damn ticket prices.
Greedy, you know what. But, it is what it is. But nonetheless, yes, he was there. I mean, I don't ever recall him being here before. We'll have to really go into the archives on that one. But yes, he was here. Bill Goldberg, the Hall of Famer, was here in Providence. And we all know the one thing that Triple H and his regime have been known for, unpredictability and surprises. We were thinking, okay, Gunther's going to cut another scathing promo about Bill Goldberg and all this other good stuff. None of us had Goldberg showing up on our bingo cards. None of us did. But alas, here he was. MF, what else is there to say? The man was here in Providence. Bill Goldberg. What?
Yeah. The minute I saw the Camaro, I was like, no shot. That can't be. Once I saw it was Goldberg, yeah, we all started throwing a whole bunch of fits in the messenger chat. We all honestly, I honestly feel like the towels were thrown at the TVs. Anything soft, because we don't want to break our TVs, but we know either papers were thrown across the room, certain items were probably thrown into beds and whatnot. I know one thing for sure. I had a towel, I threw that across the room, yelling, son of a bleep. You gotta be flipping kidding me. But yeah, he showed. And then there was rumors that, oh, the Goldberg chants were piped in noise. No, it was not. The fans were cheering for Goldberg. That was a legit Goldberg chant. Don't let it get it twisted. Don't listen to the AEW shills or any IWC morons that doesn't know crap about wrestling. This was a legit Goldberg chant that was going down in Providence. Don't believe what you hear in the IWC, or don't believe the stupid dirt sheets. Because there was a couple of people inside the building, they confirmed it. No, that was a legit Goldberg chant. There were some boos. They will confirm that. Some fans were actually booing Goldberg. They can confirm that. But the Goldberg chant was 1000% authentic. Yes. So, this was awesome. To see Bill Goldberg in Providence, oh my freaking word. Nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours. I can't believe it.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, I literally took like a piece of paper and I just threw it across the room. I'm like, damn you, TKO, for screwing us out of this one, for raising the damn ticket prices, you bunch of bleeping morons. I mean, I if they hadn't done that, we would have been excited to see that moment. But no, they had to take it away from us because of and
not just all of us, but our good friend Ryan Abedizian also.
oh, he went off, and he even went as far as to say then he actually sent an email to TKO. So if that doesn't show you how upset he was, and I don't know what will. But yeah, I heard that those Goldberg chants were real. So yeah, I don't know where these AEW marks or sickos are coming up with it's piped in, or it's piped in, or any IWC moron a la Dave Meltzer. Don't get me going on that piece of you know what. Another guy who doesn't know a damn thing about wrestling. And I think Florio, you know who I'm going with. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do, Bullock. I do know where you're going with this.
Well, do you know?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here, Bullock.
Somebody that had a failed thing during the Attitude era when it comes to a certain boxing thing.
Oh yes, Vince Russo.
Yeah, don't get me going on that. That's another guy I can't stand.
Tomorrow, speaking of Vince Russo, tomorrow marks the 25th anniversary of the infamous Bash at the Beach promo, the shoot.
Yeah, and I would have some choice words for him with some of the other takes, but that's another story for another day. So
exactly, we gotta get going here. Come on.
Yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say except if they go with the booking 101 here, we all know who's going over at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, Gunther will definitely be going over on Saturday, no doubt.
Damn
Short,
straight.
sweet, and did nothing to ruin the aura or intrigue of Goldberg's last bout, so this was a huge success in that regard. Even if the final match in the career of one of the stars of the Monday Night Wars should feel like a bigger deal than it does. The crowd's going to be red hot in Atlanta. They blew the roof off here, and Providence is not Goldberg's hometown, obviously. And Gunther may well earn miracle worker status come Saturday night. Now, I'll be honest. I've had my fair share of, criticism of Bill Goldberg, for being, a politician and having his way and, for a brief moment in time, hurting Kevin Owens in 2017 when he took the Universal Championship off of him at Fastlane. And of course, the Bray Wyatt thing, the Fiend from that Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia in February of 2020, just before the pandemic. And of course, when he literally ended the career of Bret the Hitman Hart at Starrcade 99 with that kick to the head. I've been very vocal about Bill Goldberg over the years. Yes, I have. But the fact that he was here, say what you want about him, whether you like him or you don't. The thing is, it's still Bill freaking Goldberg. One of the many reasons why the summer of 1998 was one of the greatest time periods in the history of professional wrestling. When Bill Goldberg burst on the scene, September of 97, he had that insane undefeated streak, 173-0, before losing to Kevin Nash, Starrcade 98. But when you think of everything that Bill Goldberg has done for the wrestling business, that undefeated streak and just his name value, his aura, and the whole 9 yards. If we had been there and we saw him coming out of that car and we saw him making his way down to the ring here, we would have lost our minds. We damn sure would have lost our minds. We would have ran to get a shot. We would have ran to get a video of it on our phones, no doubt. I know I would have. Like him or you don't, it's still Bill freaking Goldberg. You have to respect what he's done, what he has done for the wrestling business, especially in the summer of '98. When the Monday Night Wars were really kicking into high, so memories we'll never forget. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Saturday night at Saturday night's main event when those two square off. We'll keep an eye out for Seth Rollins and a handful of others. Usually Jesse the Body Ventura calls at least one match on a Saturday night's main event nowadays. I'm hoping that that's the one he calls on Saturday night. That's all I can say. So But we'll see. We'll see. So, but Bill Goldberg in Providence. Oh my God. You gotta be kidding me, man. I had the Stone Cold Royal Rumble 97 face. You know the one. That's exactly what I did. I'm like, Bill Goldberg is here in Providence. And we're sitting at home because of these greedy you-know-whats raising the damn ticket prices. Next time, it better be different. That's all I'm saying. But it's probably not. So with that being said, let's get into our main event of the evening. It was Seth freaking Rollins squaring off against Penta. Seth freaking Rollins wins the match, 12 minutes and 40 seconds. But after the match was over, LA Knight gets his payback on Seth freaking Rollins. He gets over on him. Booking 101 will suggest that Seth Rollins will defeat LA Knight at Saturday night's main event. So there isn't anything else left for me to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts as Seth Rollins defeats Penta in 12:40. But everybody was saying LA Knight after the match was over. Yeah.
That's what everybody was saying after the match. So, yeah. I'm going to give this about 3.5, maybe 3 3/4, and definitely the fight of the night, hands down here. So, yeah. And of course, like you said, LA Knight getting over on Seth Rollins. So you know that Rollins is probably going to go over Saturday night. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
3.5, 3 3/4. The match was predictably strong, even if the finish left plenty to be desired, and the crowd was red hot. The fans were right there along with the wrestlers who took them on a roller coaster ride, culminating in the heel snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Knight looked like a massive star as he stood amid the cheering fans and will be greeted as such in Atlanta on Saturday night. How he is booked coming out of Saturday night's main event will prove whether it was for naught. The physicality of the match was shown in the welts across Rollins' back and the cut above his eye. Much like the opening segment, Rollins and Heyman's facial expressions were the star here. The concern and disbelief they flashed when Penta kicked out of a frog splash went a long way in helping to put over his toughness and stature as a main event star. So, not much more to say there. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Fight of the night. MF, your thoughts?
Yeah, about 3 stars, no doubt about it. You said everything that needed to be said, but there is one thing that needs to also be addressed if you think about it. Here, Braun Breaker destroys Sami Zayn, looks strong. Bronson Reed looks really strong by destroying Jey Uso. But Seth Rollins looked weak as he gets destroyed by LA Knight. What does that tell you about the group itself? Who's the real weak link in that little crew there?
A possible Braun Breaker Seth Rollins feud could be in the works, according to a dirt sheet I read.
Yeah,
and I heard Seth Rollins might be the one that gets kicked out of the group, even though he's the one that put the group together.
So we'll see.
I think the only way he can reclaim control or as leader of the group is if he cashes in Money in the Bank and becomes the world champion.
Could that be happening on Saturday night? You never know.
I doubt it, but we'll wait and see.
All right. 3 stars, Anthony. Go.
Odds suggest yes, but we'll see. All right. Overall thoughts. There should have been 2 creative goals heading into this show. Promote Saturday night's main event and hype the life out of Evolution. It did neither particularly well. As good as the show was, it failed to make either of those shows feel like must-watch viewing. Instead, it played the long game with the Rollins faction, bordering on overexposing it with the vast number of segments it appeared on over the course of 2.5 hours. Evolution was still treated like an afterthought, with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky being afforded a video package and minimal attention paid to other rivalries that will culminate on the show. The Rollins and Knight match on Saturday night's main event benefited from the closing segment, but not nearly enough. So, but it was a hot main event, though. And it was a good show that felt like it was on its way to being merely a solid show. and that's all there is to say on that. So, and let's not, and I should have put a disclaimer out there. We're basing this as we always do, from our homes and our TVs instead of in the arena. I'm sure it would have been a lot different had we been there, but because we were at home as always, I mean, I could honestly say this was right around 7.5 territory. But, it was a solid show, but I would have liked to have seen a little more build for Saturday night's main event in Evolution. But other than that, it was a solid show. We had a few good to solid matches on this one. The crowd was great as always. I'm not at all surprised about that. So, damn, I wish we could have been there, but it is what it is. But hopefully next time we'll be in a better spot. So, 7.5. MF, your thoughts?
I gotta say, honestly and truthfully, one of my guys said that he was really impressed with the reaction from the crowd in Providence, and even said that this might be the best crowd in 2025. Like, that's how good he felt. And actually watching it via Netflix, because we were using the international feed, and just to hear the Karrion Kross interview and the "We Want Cross" absolutely cemented it for us. 7.5 to 7.75 for this Monday Night Raw. So, Bullock, it's yours.
7.5 for me as well. I mean, this was a good show. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would have loved to see a little more build for Saturday night's main event and Evolution, but it was a good show. I mean, tonight. I mean, last night. But and the thing is, I mean, yes, I mean, the three of us we complained about the ticket prices being so high, but here's the thing: the place was almost a sellout, despite that. So when you almost have a sellout,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you really can't complain about it. I
It's
mean,
a 10,000 seated arena, and the unofficial number is that they sold 8,800 tickets. There was very little areas that were not filled in that arena. Like, almost every single seat that they had was sold. So they actually had it as a possible 9,000. There was only maybe 200 seats that were not filled. But other than that, it was at least over 80 to 90% filled at the Miko Mutual Pavilion. It
yeah,
was a practical sellout.
yeah. So, and the thing is, even if I mean, if now if there were less, it was a real lesser crowd because of those ticket sales, then maybe WWE would have got, well, TKO would have gotten the memo. But because you almost had a sellout, I hate to say it, but there's really nothing much we can
No.
complain about.
Yeah,
They
they're not
just
gonna they're not gonna
they're gonna for basically what Providence did is prove TKO right. That's
Yep.
all they did.
Yeah,
The TKO is justified because there are people out there that's willing to spend the top dollar for these tickets. That's
I
all
even
that
saw
just proved.
I even saw a sign in the crowd. There was one sign in the crowd that said, "I sold my car to be here." I hope he was kidding.
He probably
well,
was kidding, but you just justified why WWE can do what they do.
And do whatever they want when they want to do it, whether we like it or not. So,
yeah, and like you said, this justifies what TKO did.
exactly.
I mean, and that's why I hate to say this, but the three of us, I mean, as much as we don't like it, we can't complain about it, unfortunately.
Well, the only thing I can say is the only way we'll get to go the next time they're here, the only way we'll get to go is if, by golly, we save enough top dollar. That's all there is to it. So,
Exactly.
We got either December, possibly January or February. The next time I heard that they might be coming back is the road to WrestleMania.
ooh, if that's true.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. So 7.5. Let's move on to NXT for you.
Yeah, and but it could be December because let's not forget December 13th. that rumored Saturday night's main event in Boston. And when they're in Boston, that usually means they could be sneaking around here. So we'll have to wait and find out. But anyways, let's now get into NXT. This was the final episode before two big events this weekend that will include talent from across NXT. The roster will have its own Great American Bash pay-per-view on Saturday, and then the women's division will take part in Evolution 2 on Sunday. Tonight's show spent time wrapping up all of the big feuds before this weekend's festivities, as well as featured the usual array of action. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's NXT. We started it off with Ricky Saints running the Vanity Project Gauntlet. Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and Evolve champion Jackson Drake. And to the surprise of none of us, Ricky Saints runs the gauntlet in a total time of 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Out of the three young prospects, Jackson Drake, the Evolve champion, gave Ricky Saints the biggest challenge and the best fight. However, this match was designed to make Saints look like a resilient fighter, and it accomplished that goal. And this win gave Ricky Saints the ability to choose the stipulation for his match, his North American Championship match against Ethan Page at the Great American Bash. And that stipulation is Falls Count Anywhere. Falls will count anywhere at the center stage in Atlanta on Saturday afternoon. So I could give this about 3 to 3.25 for the effort. No big surprise that he did this. So not much more to say on that. So MF, Ricky Saints, running the Vanity Project Gauntlet, total time of 12:13. And it'll be him and Ethan Page for that North American title, Falls Count Anywhere.
3 stars for me. Nothing much to say. Anthony, you pretty much touched on it, but look, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.25 for me. And like you said, now, I mean, this match for the NXT North American Championship is Falls Count Anywhere. Yeah, that's going to be absolute craziness with the way these two are. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, we move on to our next match, which was Charlie Dempsey squaring off against Tavion Heights. The stipulation being if Tavion Heights won the match, then he would be free to leave the No Quarter Catch crew. Not going to happen. Charlie Dempsey wins the match. 9 minutes and 37 seconds. Ren Sinclair literally throws in the towel for Tavion Heights. We've seen this before. Madison Square Garden, December 26, 1983. The Iron Sheik, Bob Backlund, Arnold Skaaland threw the towel in. We all remember that. And that's literally what Ren Sinclair did here. So not much more to say. MF, Charlie Dempsey wins in 9:37. Tavion's got to stay in the NQCC, and it's all because Ren Sinclair threw in the towel for him.
Yeah, she felt like it was the only necessary thing because she was protecting Tavion Heights because Charlie Dempsey was putting a wrestling clinic on this kid, and Ren Sinclair felt like this was the only way out. He was either gonna go. He was gonna either get severely hurt or he was gonna die on the sword. Props for Tavion Heights for hanging in when he did. But you're dealing with a wrestling machine with Mr. William Regal's son, Charlie Dempsey, and Dempsey just had no remorse, no adulation for this one. This was a dominating performance. 2.5 to 3. I don't blame Ren Sinclair throwing the towel in. She was saving Tavion Heights. That's all we can say about that. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5 for me. And let's not forget another thing, too, guys. It's not just he has to stay with the no quarter catch crew, but Charlie Dempsey also said that he can never he can never challenge him or try to leave the no quarter catch crew again. So what's done is done. And like you said, Ren Sinclair did it just to protect Tavion Heights, because you saw he was like on a wrestling clinic, and if she didn't throw in the towel, Heights was going to get severely hurt. So, but if Tavion Heights, I got a feeling he's going to have some reservation about that. That the frustration's going to come out, and he's going to probably think that this was all a ruse by Ren Sinclair just to try to make Charlie Dempsey happy and try to keep Tavion Heights in the no quarter catch crew. You know that's what Tavion's going to probably say. But unfortunately for him, you know what Charlie Dempsey's going to say, guys. You had your chance and you blew it. So you're still part of the crew whether you like it or not. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
All right, we move on now to I'll tell you what. This was a good match with a slightly weird ending. Ren Sinclair throwing in the towel may have been pre-planned between her and Dempsey, but she was acting sorry after it happened. And having both men come out at the same time was a nice touch, and they did the same thing for Miles Bourne for his match also. And the mask WWE gave Heights made him look like a serial killer who shouldn't be allowed near anyone. Man, but other than that, solid 3 stars for the effort. So we move on. Tag team action. The 2 men who will be challenging Trick Williams for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at Slammiversary on the 20th of this month. We all know that is, of course, Mike Santana and, of course, Joe Hendry. Mike Santana and Joe Hendry squaring off against Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, the High Rise with Wes Lee in their corner. And another no big surprise, Mike Santana and Joe Hendry win the match, 8 minutes and 43 seconds. Trick Willie got involved, and all hell broke loose. And Michael Bullock, as I give it to you here to start it off, Santana and Hendry win the match in 8:43. And on top of that, Great American Bash Saturday, Williams, Hendry, Santana, contract signing for their triple threat title, TNA title.
It ain't going to end well.
Yep, you knew where I was going. So your thoughts?
Hey, all you got to do is say contract signing, and I know it right off the bat. So, what was the time again?
8:43.
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 2.5, 2 3/4 on this one. Yeah, no surprise that Santana and Joe Hendry went over, but at the end, the High Rise and Trick Williams got the best of them, and Trick Williams is counting on the High Rise to soften these two up, so it's easy pickings for them at Slammiversary. So we'll see what happens. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
2 semi-dirty finishes in a row is never ideal, and it didn't feel like this match had enough time to really get going, so it fell a bit short of expectations. Santana and Hendry are big guys, so the fact that they were almost dwarfed by their opponents tells you just how big High Rise is. So not much more to say on that. So 2.5, 2 3/4, basically a showcase for Hendry and Santana as they get ready for that huge triple threat with Trick Willie at Slammiversaries. So not much more to say. MF, Santana, and Hendry in 8:43.
Yeah, no, solid 2.5. They served its purpose. It was to put the TNA stars on the pedestal, which they've done really well. And credit to NXT for letting these guys get the momentum that they need to get, knowing what's at stake, knowing what's on the line, especially at Slammiversary. This has been a great partnership between TNA and NXT, and I can't say anything bad about it. They've done a great job with it. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right. Then we had an in-ring segment. It was a video package, really. There was a video package for Yoshiki Inamura, and you had so many Japanese stars, not just of today, but yesteryear. I mean, you had some guys from Noah wishing Inamura well, Io Sky, the women's world champion, wishing him well, and last but not least, the Hall of Famer, the Great Muta. What? Oh, you get an endorsement from Muta, you know you've done something right. So, boy, howdy, that was awesome.
To get Muta's great, but there was one other guy I wish they would have gotten, and that would have been the perfect guy, Jushin Thunder Liger. You get Liger, oh my god, I would have been marking. That would have been it for me. I would have been done.
Yeah, I know how much JTL means to you, MF. I mean, an absolute legend in the game, one of the greatest to ever do it. I mean, all those legendary light heavyweight bouts in WCW. I mean, man, those were fun. But Inamura and Briggs, they cut a promo, interrupted by Obafemi, and I mean, nothing really much to it. I mean, Obafemi and Yoshiki Inamura had a face-to-face meeting ahead of their title match at the Great American Bash. Business as usual. Not much happened, but they did a decent job. I mean, nothing to really, write home about.
Yeah.
And then we had our next match. Then there was a lot of backstage stuff, a lot of vignettes, and then we had Kalani Jordan squaring off against Laney Reed. Kalani Jordan wins it 4 minutes and 24 seconds. We're going to bypass this. This is cutout territory. I will say this. Laney Reed is still new on the scene and looking to make an impact, so she's been talking a big game. Jordan wanted her to back it up, and she proceeded to do exactly that by dominating much of the first half of the bout. There was a technical issue that caused the feed to cut out while Jordan was making a comeback, so seeing her hit a moonsault to win as soon as it returned was surprising. Other than that, it was pretty predictable, but a decent performance. And Thea Hale attacked Laney Reed after the match and drove her out of the arena. And by the way, our congratulations and a shout out to Kalani Jordan and Carmelo Hayes. They got engaged, so congratulations to them. You saw it on social media. That was obviously Kalani's first appearance since she got engaged, since her and Melo got engaged. So our best wishes to both. And not much more to say there. So then we had a little moment in the back there. Adriana Rizzo coming out of hiding here. It has been a minute since we've seen that beautiful dame of the D'Angelo family. So nice to see her back. I mean, it's been forever since we've seen her. Adriana Rizzo oversaw a meeting between Tony D, Luca Crucifino, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo. This didn't really lead to a resolution, but it looks like WWE might be toying with the idea of reuniting the group or having them all go their separate ways for good. And it was announced that next week on NXT, Stacks, Tony D, and Luca are going to have a triple threat match. So we're going to see how that plays out. And then from there, we had ourselves an NXT Tag Team Championship match. The champions, Hank and Tank, defending against Shawn Spears and Nico Vance of the Culling, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley in their corner. Winners of the match in 10 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the NXT Tag Team Champions, it is Hank and Tank. This might be surprising to hear, but this ended up being the best thing we saw all night because everyone brought a lot of energy and enthusiasm to their performances. Even Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley were doing their part without taking away attention from the action in the ring. After a fun back-and-forth fight, Hank and Tank scored the win. The Culling came close and looked great here, so this may not be the last time they challenge for the titles. And Dame and Paxley have turned into a very interesting duo. And the spot where Nico Vance pounced Hank onto the announce table was awesome. 3 1/4, 3 1/2. Sleeper fight of the night and the fight of the night. Color me surprised. Well done, guys and ladies. So not much more. MF, Hank and Tank. successfully defend the NXT tag titles in 1050.
Yeah, 3.5 stars, definitely fight of the night honors, and yeah, they did really good. I was very impressed, thoroughly impressed. Nothing more to say. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, 3.25, 3.5. Yeah, fight of the night, no doubt about it. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on for you.
And we close the show. This is something that we're used to seeing at the close of an NXT show, a revolving door segment, as I call it. General Manager Ava. The show ended with Ava talking about what is in store for the women's division this weekend at Evolution, and it led to her being joined by several women who each gave a brief promo that, with all due respect, felt weak and pointless. So they flew in a huge chunk of the main roster, women's roster, just to give them about a second of screen time. I mean, yeah, you brought in Stephanie Vacour because her pop felt effective, but everyone else felt like they didn't need them there. I mean, Julia was even there, and she felt like an afterthought. But it would have been more effective if it was just the NXT women brawling. But nonetheless, all criticism aside, oh my God, where do I start? I mean, we have 6 women from NXT who will participate in that battle royal at Evolution. Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. And then Fatal Influence showed up, Jordan Grace showed up, Lash Legend showed up, Stephanie Vacour to the biggest pop of them all, obviously. Maxine Dupree and Natalya, Jada Parker, Izzy and Tatum, and then it was all a massive brawl. So if you guys want to talk about it, we can, but didn't really do much of anything for me. Typical revolving door segment.
Yeah, revolving door, no doubt about it. It doesn't, but it's good that we did get Stephanie Vacour, because a lot of people were wondering where the hell was she? Why was she not utilized? A lot of people, she was in Providence last night. She was there. She was actually on the main event. So she was actually in a dark match before Monday Night Raw was on the air. She was there. Stephanie Vacour was there, folks. She was there.
What if we were there? What would you have done?
Don't even get me started, Florio. Don't even get me started. That's all I'm saying.
Did you had to do that, Florio? Because you know how much Fletch adores Stephanie Vacour, and just to know that she was there, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in a
she would have gotten a mood. The pop for her I bet that pop for her was otherworldly.
It was huge. From what I heard, it was a big pop. She got a great reaction. So,
and we would have had a lot of fun with that move of hers.
Yes, the Devil's Kiss. We all know it.
Booker T.
So, but yeah, all in all, no, it was fine for what it was worth. Yeah, I get it. A lot of people's like, oh, but why did you? Because this was their way of trying to promote for Evolution. I know not the greatest way to do it, but to bring back Stephanie Vacour was a big deal. To bring Julia, the new Women's U.S. champion, into the building was a big deal. So no, I mean, they did an okay job with it, but I'm not gonna say, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. No, it wasn't. But still, to have Stephanie there, to have Julia there, 2 of the biggest alums of NXT, the 2 most successful women of this new era of NXT, for what they've done, and again, it cements my theory about how Julia is better up to this moment. What's better than Stephanie Vacour? I know I'm going to hear it from the Stephanie fans because of that, but you got to call a spade right now. Julia has done better. With her winning the U.S. Women's title had cemented her. So nothing more to say. Bullock, if you want to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything really that much to write home about, but like you said, this was all about trying to promote that battle royal. I mean, could they have done better? Absolutely. I mean, they definitely could have. So they did what they could. So nothing more to say. Overall thoughts time, Florio.
All right, MF, you started off. Overall thoughts on this NXT Go Home show for the Great American Bash and Evolution?
Yeah, nothing to major write home about. I thought it was a fine show. This is another 7 out of 10. Could have been better in certain areas, but I will say this. They did a fine job for promoting Great American Bash. They did give us a little bit for the TNA Slammiversary, especially with their world title fight. That you got a little something out of it too. So I mean, they covered as much ground as they could. Was it perfect? No. Could have it been better? Yes. But fine for what it was worth. 7 out of 10. Bullet go.
I'll give this 6.5 to 7. Was it perfect? No. Could have been better? Absolutely, it could have. But they did what they could, and yeah. So there's really nothing more to say. Take us home, Florida.
As a whole, tonight's NXT was pretty run of the mill. It had to do a lot of work to hype the events this weekend, so it felt like it was lacking a bit in the in-ring department. None of the matches we got were overly bad, but none of them stood out as memorable either. The tag title bout was the most entertaining fight on the card, but not by a huge margin. It has felt like WWE has dropped the ball hyping Evolution this time around, so it was nice to see the show end with the focus solely on building the show. So 7.5 out of 10 from me as well. So that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. So MF, come on in and let's set up the future content for the rest of the week.
With everything riding on the line, especially with this weekend being such a big weekend for wrestling, we're actually going to do something different. So on Thursday night, we are going to postpone the TXN Sports World.
Okay.
Instead, we're doing a special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, hosted by Anthony Florio at 10:30, and we're gonna cover everything that's going down this weekend. So, this is the preview we're gonna do the preview for Evolution, for the Great American Bash, and for the Saturday night's main event. We're all gonna preview it all on one shot.
We usually don't preview Saturday night's main event.
No, we won't. We don't. But we will do Evolution. We will do
Great American Bash.
the Great American Bash. That will be covered. On Saturday. On Friday, we're gonna do traditional. We're gonna do the TNA and SmackDown. And on Sunday, we will recap the Great American Bash and Evolution. When Evolution finishes, I think that's going to be about 10 o'clock or 10:30. So we'll be back on Sunday. I'll host it on BraceFan 95. So Anthony on Thursday, the previews, obviously the Cerebral Smack Talk on Friday, and then Sunday a special edition of TXN, Talking Wrestling TXN. We'll recap Saturday night's main event too. So we'll do all three in one shot on Sunday.
Okay. All right. Very good. So Thursday night we will preview NXT Great American Bash and WWE Evolution. Friday will be the Cerebral Smack Talk with TNA Impact and SmackDown. Back at our traditional 10:30 spot. Oh, by the way, no more of that 3-hour SmackDown stuff. And then Sunday night, following Evolution, we will have our recaps of NXT Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and Evolution. Better make sure that's a rapid fire one, baby. That's all I'm saying. All right, so that's it. So until Thursday night for the special edition of Talking Wrestling TXN, this is Anthony Florio here for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, saying, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, watching 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Thursday night, for that Talking Wrestling TXN special, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.